Hello and welcome to this quick Chartpattern.com getting started video. This video is intended for new trial subscribers and new members to learn Dan Zanger's method quickly. So we're going to give you a jump start on the critical areas of the site. From the home page here, you'll want to notice this link, Dan's 10 Golden Stock Rules. These rules are an integral part of the trading method. They should be studied and understood before ever taking a trade, because you would not have the tools to manage or enter without them. So that is your first step. After that, we're going to log in under Member Login. And you'll notice this checkbox right here. This checkbox is to receive Dan's morning update. This is not the newsletter. This is simply an email Dan sends out each morning of what he sees pre-market that may be hot for the day. So Dan will study the pre-market volume and activity, and he will mention certain stocks that look like they're on a pivot that could potentially move for that day. If you would like to receive that email and you're an intraday trader, you'll check that box and you will receive it in the morning. That information is also on this tab called Morning Update, so you can receive it on the site. But if you'd like to receive the email, this is where you opt in for it. To the right of it, you'll notice this is the newsletter archive. If you click this drop down, you are able to look at every single newsletter Dan Zanger has ever created for over 15 years. This is an entirely transparent view of every newsletter so you can see how Dan traded. New traders are best on the site to spend a few days reviewing these past newsletters. Go back a few months worth of newsletters and review how Dan had reacted, which stocks he had been reacting to, the patterns that he entered on, or the signals he mentioned which might have been sales. These tools on these prior newsletters will give you everything you need to learn by example quickly. So this is a great way to jumpstart your understanding of what Dan does. Now I'm going to step into a current newsletter. Right here on the top there's a tab. And this is a current newsletter. Each newsletter begins with index charts. Although Dan does not trade the indexes necessarily directly, he is tracking what the market is doing, which is critical to the behavior of your stocks. An actual stock chart will look like this. In this case, here's Facebook. You'll notice this was bought at $34, which is where Dan's buy point was. Stock is now trading near $50, and there is no update to a new buy point. It would be listed here. So this is simply follow-up on an existing setup. Dan will repeat the same names over and over that are the top leading stocks in the market. If Dan mentions it once and it disappears, the odds are it's not a true leader and Dan is not spending a lot of time focused on that name. Here's a stock, Tesla, that is in focus, one of the strongest stocks in the market. And Dan is paying attention to it, but there is no buy point. Now here's CRE. This stock does have a buy point. You'll notice these three key letters, TBA. TBA stands for Technical Buy Area. This is the price where Dan would be interested in buying the stock along with his golden rules to enter. So in this case, 74.50 would be an entry for CRE. Now price will hit 74.50 and what you're looking for is volume. You may actually begin your position by entering at 74.50 as it passes through that price. And you are looking for 150% of average volume. Now we're going to look at it from a 20-day average volume. So you use the 20-day simple moving average on your volume. And you are looking for 1.5 times what the norm is on the day of the breakout. So for instance, if it passes 74.50 and you enter, and it's halfway through the day and the stock is supposed to trade at least 1.5 million shares and it's only traded 300,000, you will know the volume is on pace to be so light that the odds are you may want to reduce your position or close out and wait for a better breakout. If the stock stays above that price and starts to follow through with conviction, and let's say the stock needs to do 1.5 million shares that day, normally it does 1 million on the 20-day average, and 1.5 times of that is 1.5 million, and the stock is halfway through the day and it's traded 950,000 shares, well then you're averaging way above that 1.5 times. And so this stock is on pace to potentially do 200% volume. It's showing conviction and the setup is working. You may want to even add to that position at that point. So it's very important to understand that volume is your conviction on a setup. And the way you identify whether there is conviction is above average volume on pace during the day of the breakout. You want that stock to have a pace of strong volume. So Cree is a setup, and this is again one where he would enter 74.50 and then comes in those conditions of reading volume. At the top of the newsletter, I'm going to just show you another tab, which is the chat room. Here's a link to our different chat rooms. There's two of them. A swing traders chat room, which Dan steps in throughout the day and has hundreds of traders. And then a smaller chat room, which is our futures and day trading room. This is for scalpers and short-term traders. Most of our traders will end up in the swing trading room. And it can be accessed from both mobile device, Apple devices, and right here is how you enter the main room from a desktop computer, the signed Java applet. And the reason for that is the Java version allows you to copy and paste into your notes. So if you have a note program like Evernote and you want to take notes during your use, you can copy and paste them from our chat room into your note program. That basically covers the chat room. And now, last but not least, support. In our chat room, we have live moderators that are there to help you not only understand the method, but in a trade. And additionally, we have people that are available to help you with support on the site. If we move back to that welcome page, you'll notice right here in the center here is a live support button. If no one is available, you simply click the button and leave a message and our staff will get back to you. If someone is available, live help will occur and we will be able to help you right on online at that moment. So using these tools as we've suggested here, this should give you a jump start on how to use the site. And we wish you good trading